What's good, family? You are listening to the Compound Movement, rebuilding your belief and frame and ideas on what health and fitness are supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Redefining what sexy look like.
I like that.
So, for those of you that don't know, well, I don't know if you've listened to the first episode that we had of the podcast. We had a gentleman who will just go by the name AD come on and talk about like health and fitness and talk about the idea of personal trainers. And I was just like, yo, bro, you are so bomb, right?
I mean,
I was like, you are so cool, you know? And then I decided, hey, it would be so great to have a balance.
I appreciate it.
So I asked Adrian to be my co-host for the Compound Movement. So
we in here.
AD is now representing. I've known AD for many
Yeah.
years.
Keep it like that.
But I always brag about the fact that I never thought about being a personal trainer until he pulled me in the corner and said, "What you doing with yourself?"
We still about to make some money together. I'm telling you, you ain't done yet. You got to get that NASM, right?
Oh, he's looking at him. He's trying to get me back. I just don't want to be. I don't know if you guys know.
We can go independent. It's cool.
Okay, independent's fine. I just don't want to be wearing that blue shirt, picking up people's weights, and yeah, that wasn't fun.
You need a towel?
You need a towel? Do you need a towel? No, I don't want to train with you. I actually just offered you a towel. That was it. That was all. People used to be so intense, but I'm so glad to have AD officially.
Thank you for having me.
I know people looking at the podcast that I wrote. I started changing all of the language around you,
right?
But then I realized, like the first episode I put out,
right.
It very much says, "Hey, my guest." No, all of a sudden it's like, "Hey, he's a guest or he's the co-host." But this is officially letting y'all know the Compound Movement is no longer just Chanel Gabriel. We have teamed up like the Wonder Twins, and we about to like run this whole thing. Okay,
you more swole than me though. I don't like that.
You know what? See, you gonna have to get over this arm thing, okay?
I mean,
I'm not that swole. I'm just a little swole.
You're highly defined.
There you go. It sounds great. And just checking in. I always try to wear a shirt that I can like talk about really quickly and just announce my shirt. And my shirt says, AKA Sweat Pink and Green, 1908.
Well then.
See, so I'm representing my for my sorority sisters, ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Yes. So no, we had a regional conference last weekend.
Oh, that's what happened. Okay.
And I got to lead. I was on the fitness committee for the conference. Of course.
Yeah.
You
well,
know,
wouldn't that be?
What else would I do with myself? Nothing, right? But I had But I led the fun run, and I create the track and everything, and I promoted the hell out of this podcast. So
Swag. I like
hopefully shout out to all the ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha that might be listening, because I handed you a flyer and was like, yo, please check it out. If you love me, if you really say you're my sorority sister, I'm leaning on the shield, you better download and tell your line sisters and your pro fights and your chapter sorority sisters, or however you want to say that. Let them know to listen to this podcast. But anyway, so AD, excuse me.
It's all good. I know this is how it is in my life, man. People would like, is it Adrian? Is it AD? I mean, it's both. So,
It's both. See, it's why you're confusing people. Just
well, not like,
name.
you know what it is?
One name.
No, but you know what it is. Like, you tell somebody, yo, my name is, and they want to just be like, all right, so they're like, what's your government name? Like, I'm a rapper, right? Like, I'm an MC. So, like, I started getting used to doing that, telling people my MC name. And then people was like, they used to do me like strippers, you know what I mean? They'd be like, they'd be like, you tell them, yo, my name is, Champagne. They'd be like, yo, but like, what's your real name? You know what I mean? So
why my name can't be Champagne?
Yeah, maybe it's just AD. My parents got lazy. They didn't want to put no more letters.
AYDEE.
See, now.
That could be AD.
They are black. So.
It could be phonetically spelled out. Well, AD, I'm gonna try to remember, just because I've called you, Adrian for so long. But I gotta, I feel like the same way. It's okay though. I do that whole mama named him Craig. I'm gonna call him Craig.
Yeah,
I do that too. But I will, this AD for the purposes of all things, all intents and purposes.
I got my branding. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to keep your branding together.
I got logos.
You got logos. I saw the logos. Well, the Compound Movement, we got a logo now too. We're flying. I was like,
A little kettlebell on it. I like that.
So that you get a little touch. Who knew?
Subtle.
Who knew I was a graphic designer? But all that said, so you said you got some news. Like, so what's going on in the world of like health and
I started looking up some stuff because we had the show coming up, and I was like, all right, you know what? Let's see what we got out there in the world of fitness. Mm-hmm. And so 13 exercises that are better than burpees.
Wait, what? No. There's nothing better than burpees. Burpees are
Yeah, you're right.
burpees are everything. We just posted that on our IG. The whole like, what was the burpees? And it had the Facebook thumb, and it was like 0 people like this.
Right. Because burpees are the worst. Like,
but what makes them so bad?
because you're moving everything, right?
Yeah.
And then when you're done, you absolutely, it's not just burping you want to do. You want to absolutely hurl everything. Like, it's just the burp is the start to the, okay, it's about to happen.
It's about to happen.
Yeah. But, again,
So what are the 13 exercises that are
they
better
said these exercises, and some of them I agree with totally. Some of them I'm like, I don't know. But goblet squat is one.
Goblet squat.
The
So that's
goblet
the lower
squat.
body. So that's definitely like triggering lower.
There you
lower
go.
body.
The barbell or dumbbell muscle snatch. I like to do them with the kettlebell.
It's dumbbell. Okay, so that's the upper body. That's the upper body side
Right.
of it.
But the snatch is a total body exercise, which is kind of like what they're saying with the burpee. Everything is like total body with it, right? So, so an Olympic lift. Then we have the alternating kettlebell swing or the dumbbell skier swing.
Okay.
Again, another total body exercise, upper and lower.
So just found other upper body and upper
Yeah.
other things that combine that are compound movements.
There are compound movements. There you go.
Brandon.
But I think what they were just trying to do, I think the burpee sometimes can be a little impactful on the joints. So,
Yeah.
Offering some other options. The dumbbell farmer's walk. A lot of people sleep on the farmer's walk. Like, it's a total body
Can you
exercise when
explain
you do
the
it.
farmer's walk? Because I'm sitting here like picking up. I can pick up bacon and eggs and
Right.
I'm just thinking that could be the farmer's walk.
So the farmer's walk is when you stand completely locked, right? Abs engaged, shoulders retracted, weights to your side, right? And depending on the individual, they might have you, like the trainer might make you hold it a little further away from the body.
Yeah, because definitely getting more engaged that way.
Right. And then you basically are walking down and you walk back. But like if you've ever done groceries at Trader Joe's and you trying to walk that joint home in that brown bag and you worried about that bag ripping, that's a farmer's walk because you're tense the entire
I
time.
do that to Trader Joe's all the time.
I know.
So look at that. We've been doing you might have been doing the farmer's walk this week.
And didn't know it.
Yep, carrying your heavy ass bag. You know, because women we like to have like 8 billion pounds in one bag
On one shoulder.
So you need to just not put it on your shoulder, put it in your hands, and you just made this a walk.
There you go.
There you go.
They had the box jump squats, step up jump, which is an interesting one too. That one is when you have your foot on the box and you like propel off the ground, but you just land right back down
It's
with
just
that
like
foot
a
on the
little
box.
that fly, like
Yeah.
halfway.
Get a little air
I
time.
look like I'm about to jump. Nope, I'm not.
Yeah, psych. The battle rope wave.
Battle ropes are my giant.
That bear crawl. If you know about that bear crawl,
No, I
it's
hate
serious.
Bear crawl is pretty intense.
It
I had
is.
to do that with So I told you guys I do the thing for Class Pass Live, and,
Right.
and one of the trainers had us doing it, and I was just like, and it was like move left or right, and I was just like, I'm gonna just stay here.
Can I just hold this?
I'm gonna just hold this. I'm doing the modified. This is the modified version.
They had the classic walking lunge, number 9. The classic walking lunge. 10 was a box thruster. It's like an explosive hip thruster type movement.
Okay.
Then we had the TRX row, which again I love that. I love TRX all day. I can do that in my house and not even worry about nothing.
TRX is great.
The blast off push up. That joint.
Was that not like what my Superman push up?
Nah, it's a little different.
How is it different?
It's like it's front and back.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
That rock. Oh.
Yeah.
There you go.
The blast off.
That's working everything.
Yeah.
Everything getting it
Be
in.
careful when you do that though, because it might look a little, you might look a little suspect in the gym doing that. Somebody
What's
might.
suspect? I might be trying to. Hey, look at me rocking.
Oh,
Hey.
and okay.
You rocking. Let me stop. I'm joking. I told everybody I'm joking. I actually do not pick guys up at the gym. It's like the last
They
place
may
I
try
do.
to pick you up after you do
No,
the
they
blast
don't.
off.
No, they don't. They won't. And if they do, I kind of walk away because I don't want to be. It's messy.
Oh,
I
because
work
now
out-
you can't work out there no more, right?
No, I work out there. I don't give
Right.
a damn.
Okay.
Their feelings gonna be hurt. I
Oh.
don't want to hurt. I feel nice. I want to be nicer. I don't want to be the jerk.
I feel like that's gonna be another episode.
I'm just saying.
How to bag a shorty at the gym.
That should be. Let's do that. I think we should.
And number 13, skater jump.
Skater jump.
Yeah, I like those. Those are like the sideway. You go from side to side like you speed skating.
Yeah.
Very
those are
explosive
good.
movement. So, 13 exercises better than a burpee. Burpees are classic, obviously. Everybody loves them. Squat thrust if you call them by another name. But those 13 exercises are pretty official.
And efficient.
and some of them are a lot safer
Than jumping.
on
lower
the
back.
burpee.
A lot of times people have lower back issues and things like that from doing the burpees. Going
all about
transition from the
safety
plank
first.
into. So
There we
thank
go.
you. That's really good. I think you did all the
I
work
did-
for me. I don't think
yeah.
I need to even say any of my
Yeah,
stuff.
okay.
I think that was a really good good piece of extra information. Look at you.
I think I nailed the job.
You doing
I
a
think
good
I got
job.
the job.
I think you showed me while you're here. I was like, oh, I forgot. Oh, there you go. I remember.
Like, I got this. Cool. All right, next.
So this is what we're gonna get into talking to our guest today, and I think it's a really dope conversation we're gonna have.
Yeah.
Cause she's all about the bass. She got the bass, no trouble, and make it ring. So coming to the stage. Look at me thinking I'm at an open mic. Coming to the stage.
Next up.
About to spit these bars. Well, that's actually how I know her from, but we'll go into that. But she's been making so many different ways. I know it probably I can. From knowing her for this long, it started off as just something she kind of had as a hobby, and it just spun and spiraled into something amazing, into another movement per se, So with her website, runningfatchef.com, we have Latoya. What do you want to call yourself?
Latoya Shauntay Snell, Tay,
was it-
Toys, autocorrect.
I was
Changes
supposed
my
to say,
name.
we got Latoya up in the house right now,
Exactly.
representing.
Yeah.
Welcome, Latoya.
Hey.
About to represent, rock it out. How are you today?
I'm fabulous, man. I mean, just taking it easy.
Word.
Yeah. So Latoya, just thinking about like everything that you've been doing. I mean, can you tell us a little bit more about like the brand Fat Running Chef that you've been pushing in your many different ways?
Running Fat Chef.
Running
Literally,
Fat Chef, excuse me.
yeah, no worries. Please.
I'm gonna get it right. Running Fat Chef. Go ahead.
Girl, I always have to clarify this for a lot of people. A lot of people get me confused for Myrna Valerio. That is my friend who happens to be super viral than me.
Okay.
Just because we're black, we are not the same.
Okay,
Just putting it out there.
Really?
Gotcha.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's
All
hard.
black people look alike. No, we don't. But Running Fat Chef. Running Fat Chef came about, I want to say about 18, 20 months ago. This was, it was because I was putting out my fitness journey. Essentially, I started off as a weight loss journey. And I always have to clarify the difference between the two. Long story short, 2013, I decided, May 28th, 2013, I decided to finally lose the weight. I stopped counting after 265 pounds.
Okay.
So I could have been close to 300. I don't know. All I know is that one day I woke up, I couldn't make any more fat jokes to myself. And it's something that a lot of people who are plus size, sometimes we use that as a defense mechanism where we figure if we make the jokes on ourselves, then we can combat any of the other jokes that might come from outside sources.
Yeah.
And most times we tend to say things to ourselves, harsher dialogues with ourselves that anybody else, they can't say anything harsher to us that we haven't already said.
Yeah. Can I just check something? Because you said plus size, and I was like, I feel like there's so many different terms that are like good.
I'm over it. Like
It's
I
like
mean,
plus size,
all the
big
tags,
bone.
and that's the reason why
Big.
I have
Thick.
yeah.
You
Thick,
know, big-
curvy.
Can you
and
say
then
big girl? Because I know that song.
Bob-
Watch out for the big girl.
voluptuous.
Come on. And
voluptuous. Oh gosh, was it Big Bone? That's old school.
Yeah,
big
that's
boned
Um,
it. You big boned
throwback.
it.
I hate Big Bone. I swear, like that. My bones ain't big. Like
Right.
these muscles are kind of big. My shoulders are
Like,
kind of
I-
thick.
Like I think my bones
But-
fit the same bones you got,
But
right?
this is the reason why I had to name it Running Fat Chef. Like I am so tired of people correcting me. Like, girl, you ain't fat. You're not fat enough. You're not. You are fat, but you don't fit the quite fat standard because I happen to be very muscular for a runner. I do lift weight. I do a lot of cross training, and I throw off a lot of my Instagram page because they're like, I know that you're a runner, you're an ultra runner, but I see so much fitness on your page that it kind of throws me off. But essentially the website came about because I was just blurbing so much on Instagram and on Facebook, and I had like a group of friends, and they're like, hey, Instagram is not a blog.
Wait, it isn't? I think
yeah,
it is.
I can make
actually.
it whatever the hell I want.
Facts.
But it's they kind of had a point. They was like, listen, like as you know me, was essentially I was open mic. Well, at least I was a paper poet. That's what I like to call myself.
Yeah, we know each other from the spoken word world.
Yes.
There we
We
go.
spent these bars back in the Food for Thought
Hello.
days in
Oh my
Bed-Stuy.
God, yes,
Yeah.
that restaurant. Yeah, man.
They go that Brooklyn talk.
Yeah, listen.
Oh, we have
hold on, we got a
Uptown
Brooklyn
bras.
hater.
Nah, not a
No,
hater.
he can't hate. He can't hate.
I never can hate, but I'm from the Bronx, so
Oh,
Don't worry,
Exactly,
we got Uptown
exactly,
folk.
right.
Okay.
Well, you
I plead
have,
the
we
fifth.
have we have a couple guests coming in that's gonna be from Uptown, so you won't feel lonely.
I can only hope. No.
No, but I
but
mean,
yeah, but
no,
knowing
I-
you from then, yeah.
Like I mean, so I found myself like even though I don't participate in open mics as much anymore, I found myself still writing in prose on my post to a point where people who didn't know me from that time, they're like, dude, why don't you just write a full blown blog? I'm pretty sure that they were laughing at some of the things that I would write because I write the most TMI things, the things that people didn't want to talk about. Like essentially, my first blog post after the introductory post was about something called a gingerbread man.
Okay.
What is
Which
that?
gingerbread man is code word for runner's trots. It is essentially going out there thinking it's a fart and it turns out to be a little shit.
Oh, got him.
That is yeah.
You sharted?
Yeah, you shorted, honey. Yeah,
Running shorts.
Yeah, running shorts. So I wrote it's probably like a 10-minute read about my little experience of being out there on Boys and Girls Track. Here I am at mile 4. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like this cute little fart. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. Nobody
let it
out
air
here.
out. Let's let it air out.
Just let it marinate a little bit. And I'm laughing and I'm like, this is kind of wet. Like, what the hell going on here? And I was like, oh. So then all of a sudden my stomach started beatboxing. It's like, 1, 2, 1, 2. And I'm like,
Got
oh, Biggie, not another one. And there goes another one. I'm like, oh, okay, hold up. It's time it's time to go home. By the time I got home, I'm like, what the hell is this? I thought this was a one-time episode. I'm like, this is embarrassing.
Happens.
And it's hard. Like, I mean, although I had, Black Girls Run, I love this group. Like, shout out to them.
Whoop, whoop.
But even as TMI as I am, I was like, I am not about to ask nobody about, hey, have you ever shitted on yourself in the middle of a run? Because you see
It just seems
the
politically
memes.
incorrect. And just for people out there that don't know, that is a thing. Like there's a thing. There's people that you have to like fix your diet before you run.
Yes.
And this idea of like knowing what your stomach can take. That's why when you go to
Right.
run, they put the Porta Johns all over the place. You just see everybody mile 3, and they all just a long line. Like
No.
It's
Sometimes you see them shorts and they look a little puffy. It's because they not, you know what I mean? They got diapers under that.
Another
yeah.
one.
You know what I mean? Like,
Another
hey, you can't tell me you about to run for 4 hours and you just don't need, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, no, I'm
condition
fine.
myself.
You
Yeah.
condition yourself, but yeah, when you first start out,
Yeah.
you're learning. There's so much to learn. I think people don't
Yeah.
realize that running. Everybody's like, I just put some sneakers on and run. There's actual things that
How about not?
happen when you do long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I love me some running, but not in this cold though. But yeah,
it's
but-
brutal.
yeah. But thinking about that, the idea you're like trying to like talk about things that you felt
Yeah.
like there wasn't spaces for you to be able to say that, because BGR is
Yeah.
pretty open. I mean, you could say that, but it's
Yeah.
but it is also, we do have the daintier BGRs. It's like, did she just tell us that? Oh my God.
Get out of here, girl. Like, no. I mean, I got to a point where I was like, all right, I'm finding myself Google searching all these things that I'm experiencing and adding on the layer of, because don't get me wrong, I did lose the weight. I lost in my first year. This is how I went from weight loss journey to essentially a fitness journey. I got tricked into running.
Me too.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Like, how did that end up happening? Because that's not your standard, choice. Obviously running's an effective form of cardio.
Yes.
But, like, if you're a bigger girl, man, that's not necessarily the one thing you're going to go to immediately.
It's most people don't. People, it was so many layers for me. And that's essentially why I utilized the platform so much. With being an African-American plus-size woman, there's so many layers that I'm pretty much tackling, and I used my platform to do as such. As an African-American, I'm an 85 kid. I'm an 80s baby.
Hey.
And the only thing that you ran for in my area of Brooklyn
Word.
was gunshots.
Speak on it.
So...
The party done.
Yeah, so the idea of actually running, I was like, fuck that noise. I'm not doing that.
Right.
So it took it's crazy. Like, I've known this guy for, I can say 15 years. I haven't met him. He is an open micer actually in London. and he's in a relationship with this woman named Kat Francois. She's awesome. And we've been friends on MySpace. He signed up.
Wait, hold on. Sorry.
MySpace.
She said MySpace.
You know I took you back.
Goodness.
She was dialing up.
That's like Net Zero, the CD.
That's the
era
AOL, baby.
That's the era of please don't call me. I'm on the internet. I'm gonna get kicked off.
Yeah.
So y'all were you became friends on MySpace.
Became friends on MySpace. Had a really good friendship. Brought it over to Facebook, and he put on there one day, I'm signing up for a half marathon. Through him, I never ran a day in my life. I tell in every interview, I always say I only ran for the ice cream truck.
Mm-hmm.
And that's as far as I kept it. And that's a true story. I ran 7 months pregnant for the ice cream truck in high heels. And my ice cream man legitimately said, if you will stop running for me, I will stop by your house every day. And he did. He did. He stuck to his word. But because of that, it was a gift and a curse.
That's good and bad. That's
Like,
a good and bad.
Don't get me
thing.
started on
Shout
these,
out to Mr. Ice Cream Man. I'm saying I still love you. I don't care. Even lactose intolerant and all,
And
which
everything,
is probably why I have runners trust.
And there we go. Well, thinking about that, so one of the things is I don't realize I didn't even say what the title of the show was. The title of the show is Does Size Matter? Redefining what health and sexy looks like.
Yes.
Right. So we were talking about this idea of like healthy and how healthy looks differently.
Yep.
So thinking about that, what were your battles when it came to it? I know you talked about a lot of the self-talk, but what did you try other things? Was it just something that wasn't a thought? You were just like, yo, this is who I am. What did it look like?
It's weird because I have been essentially part of my expression. I have been the skinny bitch and I have been essentially the fat bitch. And it's like both sides. I don't think that both sides actually hear each other very well, and that's where I'm looking for that middle ground. It took a very long time to be comfortable with my skin, and it essentially took for me to get 10 pounds away from my goal weight to realize I was not happy with my body. Because a lot of people, they go out there and they say, hey, this ideal number is going to make me happy. Right. And the reality of it is that you lose all this weight and your mind hasn't caught up. There's layers like body dysmorphia, which is something that I went through, where every time I looked in the mirror, I was just kept seeing the 265-pound girl. And once I got to a point where I realized that, hey, girl, you can't be walking around here with a size 22 pants when you're a size 10, 12.
Right.
That's when I had my reality check of, holy crap, I didn't lose this for me. I lost this for everybody else. Right. And I had to go back into my journey, and that's how it transitioned from weight loss to fitness journey of trying to figure out where my happy was. I had to reevaluate the way I spoke to myself. I had to stop making puns at myself, because a lot of us do. We start to make jokes at ourselves because we're trying to beat everybody else to the punch, or we've heard it from everybody else about how fat we are. Put down that extra portion of food. Right. Changing your relationship of how you allow others to speak to you. Yeah. And all of these layers, essentially I had to take a step back and look at myself as an outsider and say, what makes Latoya happy? And that's how I found myself and found my real voice, not this voice that made others comfortable. And that's how I ended up actually intentionally gaining some of the weight back. Now, I will admit I gained a little bit more cookies and cakes than I desired. But now I find that I'm much happier, and not only I'm happier, but I'm healthier. Along this journey, I realized that when I lost the weight and I got down to 160, and I'm 5'3.5", and you have to throw the half in there because short lives matter. But
I'm 5'5.5".
Hey.
I round up sometimes.
You have to, man.
I round up all the time.
It's real. Yeah, it's a man.
I'm 6 feet. I don't care what nobody tell me. I'm 6 feet.
You are not 5'11".
Stop saying my numbers, man.
Oh, don't worry about it. There's a lot of 5'11" guys out there. But it's real. It gets to a point where you have to change your inner dialogue.
So with you saying that, I remember, I was looking you up, when Chanel sent me your name and your info, and I saw a picture of you where you had lost the weight, right?
Yeah.
And and I think even at that point you were still probably $160 or something like
yeah.
that. You looked great. I looked at it and I was like, all right, because I, as a trainer, I'm always telling folks, I'm like, don't worry about the numbers, about how you look, how you feel.
Look, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So once you got to that point and you saw that, when you were on your way back, where was your mind at that point? Meaning, because you'd been giving yourself all the talk about, I'm a big girl and I'm trying to get down.
Mm-hmm.
You got down.
Mm-hmm.
but you were still thinking like you were a big girl.
Yep, still thinking I was a big girl.
So then what ended up happening in that transition then that ended up getting you back? Because it sounds like you were still like, I'm okay with it, but still kind of, there was still that fight. And I think that's an interesting thing because a lot of people go through that.
I went through rock bottom at that point. Literally, like around that point, I was still learning running.
Okay.
And I ended up getting like a whole bunch of health scares. And now I have an actual diagnosis of why I kept miscarrying, because that was one of the things I went through.
Oh, okay.
I went through a miscarriage, and I stopped counting after 4. I found out that I have, it's rough. I mean, and the thing is, those are the conversations that I bring to the platform, the things that we don't talk about, especially in the African American community. It's like these are the things that people kind of tell you, you keep it to yourself, or you keep it amongst your circle, and you don't talk about this on an open, you don't have open dialogues about these things.
It's dangerous. It's very dangerous.
And honestly, I'm like, why is everybody so damn secretive about it? Because, when it comes down to, like, my son's a type 1 diabetic, and they're saying that, hey, this is an autoimmune disease. When it came down to those things, I didn't know these things actually were prevalent in my family, but everybody is so secretive. My sister has lupus. It's to a point where I had to reevaluate myself. So I started going through rock bottom with my health, and I'm like, damn, I lost all this weight. And one day I looked in the mirror again, and I'm like, wow, my face is sunken in. I don't really have all the things that women typically are scared of. They're scared of lifting heavy. Oh, lifting heavy is going to make you look like a man and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, fuck that noise. But like, it was to a point where I was just like, but yeah, now I look too small. Like it didn't feel like the frame actually fit me. So I'm like, where's my happy point? And my happy point was in lifting. And doing more calisthenics, incorporating things like yoga into my routine just to balance my mind. So at that point, at 160, that was probably the lowest I ever felt in my life. Wow. While everybody's telling me, you look great, I also had other people that's telling me, you look better when you were fat.
Yeah.
So it's so crazy. You trying to do one, and then you got, you have the people that are like the naysayers that are kind of like, but you can't make anybody happy. That's what it ends up.
But that's what it comes back down to. You have to ask yourself, what makes me happy? Screw everybody else. Screw family, screw friends. I mean, their voices matter, but to a point. If you sit here, there's a saying, what is it? I comes before you. When it comes down to it, I comes before you. So if you are sitting here trying to appease everybody else, you will never, ever have that point where you'll be able to say, this is what I did for me. Right. And screw everybody calling you selfish. You have to put yourself first at some point, whether you are a parent, whether you are a caretaker, if you are you're in a marriage, it doesn't matter. At some point, you can't lose yourself in that process.
It's funny you mentioned that. We often talk about, I have 2 sons. And me and my wife joke about it, that like the whole thing when you're on an airplane, they say put your mask on first
before you tell other people.
If you're not right, your kids are not going to get the best version of you, right? And therefore you can't be them. And that's the thing for everybody in your life. You got to be the best version of yourself for them. And I think that seesawing is a very common thing amongst people who are going through the process of losing weight. So I think it's awesome when you say that you went on more of basically a fitness journey as opposed to a weight loss journey. So where has that brought you now? I mean, I know you look strong. Let me tell you something.
I'll say I watch your exercises, and I know we watch each otherher's pages and stuff like that. I'm definitely like, you will come up and you'll show some great exercises, some great routines, and you really seem like you're like about this life. Like,
I love it.
And I see the addiction. Addicted to endorphins. I see that.
Yes. That's a real thing.
But but continuing that, what AD asked, where are you now? Like mentally, I know you're sharing everything and where you're going.
Yeah.
But where are you mentally now? Is this like, this is the weight that I want to be at? This is what I want to do? Or
right now,
you're still figuring that out?
I am trying to see how far I can push my body. That is really where I'm at. Like, I am literally embracing the crazy. It's something that, I literally just finished reading this book called Ultra Marathon Man by Dean Karnasius. And literally, he is talking about, like, the craziest of things in his book. And I'm like, okay, this man said he's going to run 200 miles by himself. Okay, he's nuts. And here I am sitting here saying he's nuts, but at the same token, I just signed up for 100K. So, and I'm doing this at 225 pounds. and I have the layers all over again. You are a black girl. You're about to go run in the woods. You're going to run with cactus and snakes. And I mean, the only thing I've dodged is gunshots and, stab wounds.
Same difference.
Like,
it's the same. If you could
it's all right.
Listen, I'm going to say you could dodge bullets. You dodge
Listen.
House parties and people play Annie Up because, the moment Annie Up come on, the
Yeah,
party's
what's on,
over,
B?
right?
It's real.
That was you're like, dun, 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 dun. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
Get your purse. All right, y'all, see you.
I'm out,
But,
B.
if you live through that, you could definitely I mean, that's amazing. Well, funny thing, and thinking about like size mattering and thinking about what health looks like, right? And stereotypes around it. The first time I went, a friend, this guy,
Here we go.
see
What happened was.
what had happened was now we're gonna skip over the what had happened was part and just go to the part where he was running a triathlon, and because he's like Lord Voldemort, he should not be named. But okay, I sound real broken. I'm not.
Yes,
I swear.
yeah, I was gonna say that's some salt in that.
Listen, I was just gonna sit here.
You want some food with that salt?
It's all right.
I was like, homie, don't listen to the show there, man. You about to get got.
Right, he'll know it's him too. It's all right. I ain't got no beef with you. It's okay. I'll call you.
I'll talk to you later.
Anyways, so no, the triathlon. He did a triathlon, and that was my first time seeing that. He was into it, and my first time seeing what that was, and I was like, so you swimming, running, and riding a bike? What the hell?
Yeah,
but I stayed there, try to be supportive, and the person that crossed the finish line, I think he placed third, was this old balding white man with this like Santa Claus pot belly, and he placed third. With all these skinny little things running around on bikes, and I'm talking about he was going like it was nothing.
Yeah,
But he's not the face of fitness.
Right.
Which is crazy.
He's not the face of fitness. And that's where we have to change our mindset. And what exactly is this face of fitness? And you have to think about it. I treat fitness almost like the same way I treat beauty. Because, outside of this, I do freelance photography. And I realize that when I have clients, for instance, they'll say, hey, can you take pictures of me like this and this? Or I'll have somebody that says, hey, I want to do a nude shoot. Okay, cool. I take a picture of you. Oh, I love these photos, but can you get rid of this? Can you get rid of this? Can you get rid of this? Can you Photoshop this? You can't Photoshop your life. So when we sitting here and we looking at all of these magazine covers where the person is completely buff, or when you think of runner and you close your eyes and you visualize a runner, you think of skinny, lean.
Yeah.
You don't think of muscular or big boned or thick. You don't think of. Sometimes you don't even associate that with African American. You don't associate that with like
Ethiopia.
That's what. I hate to say it.
For runners.
runners.
For runners. I mean, but it's true because I think about the fact that. Think about Serena Williams.
Yes.
How much when she first
they
came
gave
out,
her
they
flack.
gave her. Oh, she looks like a man. She's muscular.
Yeah.
They look like this. And I saw recently somebody had posted a picture. But somebody had posted a picture of her. They showed her, and there's like the biggest, like one of the biggest athletes in the world. Serena Williams is one of them. You know, and they were like, she has cellulite.
Yeah.
And they showed a picture of her ass,
weird.
and it was like, no, her ass is like.
I like it.
And I'm saying, but think about
I'm
that.
a
The
fan.
fact that we're all like, and I
I'm
had to
just
do it
saying.
for myself. But I had to do that for myself, like where I got cellulite in my thighs, a
Right.
little something. I'm like, what is that?
Right.
Yeah.
And it was funny. I thought about it because I hate wearing shorts to the gym.
Right.
I wear it
Wow.
running because in the sun glistens, I want to even my tan out.
Hey.
And in the summertime, it's just
Yeah.
a different thing. I don't care in the summertime. It's hot. I don't look at my
Right.
thighs, whatever. But like, I secretly am self-conscious about it. But then I realized the most famous athlete in the world
That's cellulite.
has
Yeah.
full on cellulite.
And that's
all
a
of
reality
that.
check.
But cellulite, and yeah, we talking about the ideas of what fitness looks like.
I mean, we're always struggling, I think, with the idea of what is beautiful, right?
Period.
And,
Yeah.
And I think with fitness, you end up seeing a lot of that happens because
Yeah.
there's always something being marketed. You know what I'm saying? It's always like somebody's moving some product or whatever.
Pretty much.
I thought it was really dope when we started the conversation talking about plus size and all the classifications, right? Because even in that, we start to get caught up.
Yeah.
In what that is. But it sounds like. Once you found that you liked being strong, right? And to me, that was always really dope. My wife is a former athlete, 3-sport athlete. She played volleyball, softball. You know what I mean? She used to train.
Shout out to
And
your wife, man.
Wife,
She
she's
a
awesome.
beast. Listen, she has one of the meanest left hooks I've ever seen.
That she
Yes.
hit you with it?
Yo.
Is that like she was like
Nah, she ain't never hit me with.
wondering.
Nah,
Like,
but it was one of them things where like you with somebody when you like, yo, if this goes down, we going back to back, right? So we was in a situation and these dudes started acting funny. I was like, all right, baby, what you want to do? She just went back to back with me. Was just like, we ready to go. I was like, cats ain't know what to do. They kind of dipped off.
Yeah, I gotta be wifey.
Bonnie
you know what I'm
and
saying? She's not cool.
Clyde.
Yeah, yo, that's my homie for life. But like, I think what was awesome was in watching her was when she found the strength and the beauty in being strong, right, and like embracing that. I thought that was one of the most amazing things. And so it feels like with amongst women, there's still this struggle, And again, I'm saying this as a man, just trying to understand it. Around the idea of being strong, and that's it's still attractive. Have you found yourself in a situation where the conversation, not even to men, but to sisters, just being
all
like,
the time,
yo, it's all
the
good.
time. It's crazy. I mean, because unfortunately, with this blog, I've got my share of hate mail, and I'm always like, a lot of people are like, stop responding to them, and I'm like, why not? I'm like, it's not that I like to, like, don't get me wrong, I actually do like to troll people back. Because I'm kind of petty.
I'm coming back.
Let's get it,
Coming
let's get it.
for
I
your
am Petty
throat.
Wonder.
Petty Wonder.
I am Petty Wonder, Petty
Super
LaBelle.
petty.
But but the thing is, my goal these days, especially since going viral, I'm like, I have to look at the bigger picture. What conversation am I trying to stimulate through, this trolling? I can troll back and forth. I can have puns for days. I mean, that's the beauty of being, as poets. That's what we do all day long. We will write about you.
I got stuff for you.
Oh,
right?
I got bars.
But when it comes down to it, I realized I sat down with one of my hecklers. Heckler was the same size as me. And it threw me off. And this heckler, I thought it was a man the entire time, but I didn't realize that she had a name like Casey. Like, and I won't say her name. Yeah, so it's a unisex name. So here I am. I'm like, she's been trolling me for 3 months, and she called me everything I need to book. She called me a fat bitch. She actually gave me one of the worst. She talked about my kid. Which is a low blow.
Y'all met up?
Yeah, and we met up.
You ain't square up?
Yeah, because 10 years ago, Toya,
Yo.
on the streets.
I was like, what you said about my child?
Yeah, like
Say
she told me that I didn't deserve to be a parent. She didn't understand type 1 diabetes. She didn't understand type 1 and type 2 are not the same.
Okay.
Type 1, pancreas doesn't work. Type 2 can be brought about from
by-
a number of things.
different factors.
And she's like, ACS should come in and take your kid, and this is probably why your child, has type 1 because look at your fat ass. And I'm like, okay, nice conversation is over.
Well, hold on. How did y'all end up meeting?
I actually told her
explain.
I would take her out, and I sit down with her. I was like, I would love. I don't throw
Was
out
it the
these.
setup though?
No, it wasn't a setup.
Okay.
She had somebody in the back there ready to get the okie doke.
I mean,
no, but I'm joking.
No,
but that's,
no, kidding, not kidding. But no.
That sounds like, yo, let me come see me, B.
Yeah. No, I mean, and she legitimately came there because I kept every time she's like, why do you keep writing me back? At one point, she wrote in the email, she's like, why do you keep writing me back? I'm like, well, you never stop talking. And I'm like, I'm just trying to look for a point where you're actually going to make some sense. I'm like, because if you make some type of sense in this conversation, you know what? Then hey, I'll go with it. When I met her, by the time we had we got like 45 minutes of the conversation. I'm like, why do you keep heckling me? And she's like, you look like everything that people told me I shouldn't be. And it hurt because I'm like, I get it. When all of your life, you have people that's sitting here telling you, oh, you're fat. Fat people don't do this. You're a woman of color. Women of color don't do this. All these things. How dare you? How do you have the audacity to do all of the things that people told me I was not supposed to do? And I was changing the conversation in a way that not only am I, because don't get me wrong, I'm not the first to do it. I'm not going to be the last to do it, to do things like this in this, in this size. It's just that I am very outspoken and I do not bite my tongue or sugarcoat this because of a certain audience. And, she's like, all right, I'm used to trolling online. And she was one of many people who trolled me on a BuzzFeed article that happened in 2017. And I wrote
that out.
her
It was a
back.
really good article.
I wrote her back, and because she wrote on there, oh, fat bitch probably not even reading this. And I was like, yeah, fat bitch here. She's checking in. What's up? And I went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And she took it to him. She found my email, my personal email, not even the email that's associated with running Fat Chef. And she's like, fat bitches like you get on my nerves. And this is and this is and this. You need to know your place. And I mean, and
know your place.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, this is funny. I seriously thought, and I hate to say it, I stereotyped her. I stereotyped her to be this lean white woman from the Midwest, like in Utah or something, like, and some farm. And this woman is like literally like not too far from New York. Like she's in Jersey.
Right.
But that's one of those things
And
where we
it scares
project
you.
it.
Yeah.
But that's what a bully tends
and
to
it's
be.
a woman. This is the part that people don't get. And this is the part of the
woman.
conversation of body positivity that I want people to not be scared to talk about as well. That sometimes the biggest haters are within their own community.
Right.
The same community that we're trying to protect. Sometimes it's that negative self-talk that we've told ourselves so much that it becomes a truth.
The wiring, man.
And
you're programmed like that.
it sucks. Like I don't need a man to beat up on me because I got women just as hateful. When the article went viral about me getting heckled during the New York City Marathon, every platform that I read afterwards, it was a different narrative where some people were praising me, but then I get a couple of haters, and it was just more like she's not fat enough to talk about that story. Or
Right.
I had someone that was out there that's like, oh, fat girls like her, because like some of the people would take pictures from my Instagram platform. I tend to work out best in a sports bra, and I wear this company called Skirt Sports. And it's basically a whole line full of fitness wear of skirts. I am a tomboy, so I didn't think I would actually like wearing that stuff. I love it. I've been wearing it for like a year and a half, like the same way, like, the whole shorts thing. I was like, don't want people looking at me. I got to a point where it's like in my brain, it says no fucks given. So when I go to the gym, I get a couple people that look at me, but I don't even see them anymore. It's like tunnel vision. I'm like, I know why I'm here. Right. And it almost, without realizing it, I was giving other women permission to actually take off their shirts when they went to the gym. Right. And it was cool, and then sometimes it throws me off because I will have somebody that's, like 110, 120 pounds, and they're like, if you can wear it, then I can wear it. And I'm like, how can I take this? I can take this in a negative sense, like, oh, so since I'm fat, if I can wear it, then you can wear it.
Yeah, you're saying like,
or I can take it and then, wow, I really
look good, and you're empowered somebody else.
So it's weird.
I mean, can I go to that side of things? I think a lot of times people, lost my train of thought. But the idea of like being healthy and being and people's images of what health looks like. Because I totally feel the idea of like what people are saying or what people are doing. I know a lot of people say, here's my thought. A lot of people say, and I've seen that with people that have asked me to train them or things like that, where they said, I need to lose a little bit of the weight first and then I'm gonna go to the gym. Or I need to lose a little bit of something before I join this fitness class.
That's
or
like waiting for Monday.
It's like waiting for Monday.
It's a setup for failure, man. It's like waiting for Monday. Monday is right now. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is literally Monday, but Monday is right now in this very moment. You will keep saying to yourself, because I used to tell myself these lies. I had the P90X. I had the insanity workouts. I let them all collect dust. I let the reps talk me into it. I upgraded the packages. And as soon as they came in the house, I was using everybody as a scapegoat. Well, I'm going to do this when I have a workout partner. Oh, my workout partner lost 10 pounds. I feel defeated. I only lost 5. I screwed up. I did great for 2.5 weeks. I messed up this one day. I had a burger. I had the fries. I had the Whopper with cheese and this and this. You know what? I got to wait until I start over. You are going to set yourself up for failure. The thing is, this is supposed to be a lifestyle change.
Yes.
If you are sitting here looking at this as a weight loss journey, sometimes I feel like, don't get me wrong, it works for some people, but most times it don't, because here's a terrible statistic, and y'all can correct me on this if I'm wrong. 95% of the people who lose their weight are destined to gain that right back within a 2-year period.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's actually factual.
And that's a harsh reality. Maybe you'll gain all of it. Maybe sometimes some people gain more. Some people only gain a little bit. But maintaining it is going to be a lifestyle change. And when we stop equating health to a potential number, or the one that I get heckled a lot on, this whole BMI story. Oh, please. BMI, I should be about 135 pounds. Oh, yeah, I'm morbidly obese.
Yeah.
But according to my body fat percentage, I am like about, 4% away from I'm very close to normal.
Okay.
I'm like balancing
Yeah.
between normal and like athlete. At one point, I was like athlete, and I was 198 pounds.
Right.
And I was just like, that's trippy because according to the BMI, I was still considered obese.
Well, because the BMI is it's a base. Okay, so for people that don't know, the BMI is based on height versus weight versus I guess a national average that was assumed for everyone being a certain frame. You know, like realistically speaking, not counting for the fact that we all hold and carry weight differently,
Right.
and that
It's not a real measure. It's not a real effective measure.
Yeah, it's a nice, cute little kind of like, let's just put this cute umbrella over something and try to give you a goal. I think that's sometimes helpful, just the idea of having some kind of numerical goal sometimes.
It's part of the SMART goal thing, right?
Yeah.
Like you got to see something measurable. I had a question, actually.
Yeah, sure.
Just because in this conversation, it's funny because we're ultimately talking about body image, right?
Yeah.
And, when you said that you thought this person was skinny,
Yeah.
right? That was trolling you. It's funny because you have a lot of sisters and people in general who are on the other end, right? Like they can't gain weight.
Yes.
Right? You got the
and I
girls who are
advocate
so
hard for
skinny,
them.
right? Because they go through the process too. Because listen, I'm a brother and I like my women curvy. I can't even and I can't and if or but about it, right?
Yes.
And I like them tall
Fan
too.
or butt.
Yeah,
Booty.
pun intended.
Pun intended.
Right? And I've felt sorry sometimes
Yeah.
for like my homegirls or my cousins who are just skinny, man.
Yeah.
And they skinny. They ain't got none of the curves, and they sitting here like struggling through that.
That was me.
Oh, so you had that
Like,
same.
like literally, like, when you met me, I think I was just starting to gain weight. Like when Chanel met me.
Yeah, you were pretty slim back then.
I was I was struggling to gain weight. Like I was just at a point.
man.
Like, all throughout my high school years, I was the girl that couldn't get past a size 2
Oh, word.
to save my life. Like I literally, when I look back at my my pictures, they used to tell me I was crackhead strong. Because I had brolic ass arms.
Right.
And I would have washboard abs, like no joke. Had washboard. I didn't try it. I didn't work hard for it. It's just that I love boxing. I love watching people box or whatever. And my form of boxing was beating up bullies. Kind of like a prequel to
what
my
you doing
life
right now?
Right
Yeah,
now I beat them up with
just
words.
grew up and
you
did
know,
it yourself.
Why not use on your Luke Cage?
Yeah, but
So you
I had this big bobblehead, and everybody would tease me because I was skinny. Oh, I mean, even down to like, and sorry for my mom-in-law, if she ever listens to this, but my mom-in-law was one of the biggest like culprits for this, where she would say things like, "Oh, girl, you on a diet, huh? Oh, you starving yourself." And one day I had to show her like, hey, I come from a long line of cooks. Like my dad cook all day long. Like, so I eat. It was just that I couldn't gain weight because my metabolism was just so quick.
Right.
And people don't take in consideration. There's things like thyroid, underactive thyroid, overactive thyroid. These are the things that people don't educate themselves on. They look at a size and assume that person is healthy because of their size. But sometimes the healthiest person is 240. The most sickly person is 98. You don't know.
I mean, and then, like you said, keeping in mind that a lot of times we automatically, the idea of the stigma of like when a person that is plus size is eating and people are like, oh, girl, she knows she can't eat that. And it's like she actually ate well. Like she actually has a thyroid issue, and that's why she's.
And sometimes we don't have a health issue.
But I'm just saying, but it's the idea that our brain automatically goes to this idea that we did something to ourselves, or don't think about emotional factors that cause people to like go through fluctuations in weight, or pregnancies, like these are all
that's how
things.
I gained my weight.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. People don't think about that. They automatically just think like you need to put a biscuit down, and that's your problem.
Put the biscuit down. Put your hands up. I mean.
Yeah.
Speaking of the biscuits.
Like
listen, I'm a foodie and a half. I was looking on the site.
Hey,
I see you doing the thing.
Oh yeah, I'm
a
a
chef.
So where
curry with the pot.
First of all, what's your number one? If someone's like, yo, I gotta try one of your dishes. What is Latoya's magical dish?
God damn, man, you gonna have all these people at my house. That's
Yup.
all I end up
That's
doing.
the goal. I was looking to see if you brought a plate with you. You could have brought a plate.
The crazy part is I'm more of a fish fan than anything. Yeah, like I will do salmon and asparagus in a heartbeat.
Nice.
If I'm on a healthy. Now, if I'm on a big bitch meal, it's gonna.
Those are important meals to have sometimes too.
Sometimes you got to be hardy with it. Like I love to
call
do
those the cheat meals.
Oh yeah, the cheat meal. Oh yeah, now I can trick out some ramen ramen noodles. And
Yo.
She gonna trick out ramen
I will
noodles.
trick
Where were
out
you
some
when I
ramen-
was in college?
Pimp my ride. No, I literally have like 13 recipes off the top of my head about ramen noodles.
Can I get a little something?
No.
I'm just
Serious.
curious.
Like you got to throw in some spinach. I mean, because don't think of the traditional ramen noodles. So if anything, think about when you go to Chinatown or you go into like, and I mean, and not just. God, I'm sorry, my people. Listen, everything is not stuck at the Chinese restaurant, all right? I want you to explore and just expand your horizon just a little bit when it comes to Asian culture. If you
Facts.
think about Thai food and like some of these things, they incorporate natural, not so much natural ingredients, but I want to say like, a lot of
Vegetation.
greens.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
There's
there's a lot of
greens
vegetables they
and
put in their stuff.
A lot of color.
Right.
So
Bok choy
don't be
and-
scared of these things. Like throw that stuff into your ramen noodle, and then you throw in a couple of things like protein. You throw in your boiled egg, or maybe if you're not scared of it, because I know a lot of people just like, oh, I'm not doing no poached egg. Like poached egg ain't bad. Like I love me some poached
you go to
eggs.
brunch, get that Benedict. That poached egg is lit.
You said Benedict.
I'm not a big poached egg fan personally. It's just not my
I-
thing. I don't
hey.
like
I
runny
can't-
eggs.
no,
I like
I don't like the because I had to do it all throughout culinary school. Egg day was the worst for us in culinary school.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you got a little
You
trauma.
had an egg
You
day?
got a little trauma,
yeah. Oh
right?
yeah, egg day is a dedicated
Yo,
egg day
it's
in
a
culinary
skill.
school. Yeah, because like I mean, it's like one of the most bomb dishes. Eggs, like when it comes to omelets and poached eggs, and like I mean, I just remember my culinary instructor yelling at me for 2 hours straight, and like damn near the whole class cracked, and he's like, "Flip it." My mama did better on her back, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, personal issues."
Wow.
Damn.
Personal issues.
Trigger warning.
Yeah.
Trigger warning. I also came from a hood culinary school. It is now closed. It's the one that you used to see on the Jerry Springer commercials. So
Yo.
yeah,
I'm
Star
saying,
Career Academy.
there's like-
Shout out to Star Career Academy.
They had to help folk out. You got out of jail. You need to trade.
Yo, man.
Get
that
Came
line
out there with
job.
the ICDC.
Facts.
is
So
dope.
real quick, so what is because we got to get into the Inquisition in a second.
Yes.
Which is just a fast fire questions you have to answer that everybody answers. But just curious, thinking about like food. Do you count calories or is it just about eating healthy?
Yes and no. I eat to live and live to eat.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
I like my balance. At first, I was very heavy on using things like MyFitnessPal because I think you do need to have a healthy understanding of where these calories are going. Most times when we are gaining excessive amounts of weight, we're not taking considerations the juices that we're having, the sodas that we're having. And you'll have somebody that's like, oh, I only drink water all day. Okay, cool. So what kind of condiments are you putting in your stuff? Are you
Ketchup?
putting in salad dressing? Because salad dressing is about as much as a damn burger. Are you doing oil and vinegar, or are you using the Caesars in the packet? So these are the things that I do, especially when it comes down to heavy training. Like right now, I'm in the middle of ultra marathon training, and I'm doing my first triathlon. So I'm doing a hybrid training. I need to actually up my calories.
Right.
Versus actually
expenditure's
keeping it
high.
low.
Right.
Because that was one of the things that I didn't learn
Yeah.
until I learned it the hard way by almost passing out in the middle of West Safe. I lost my hearing, lost my vision, lost it all in 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Because
from overtraining
Yeah, I was-
and
From
under
not-
eating.
no, I didn't eat enough.
Yeah.
Oh, under eating.
Yeah, because I was like,
training.
yeah.
Lack of fuel.
I was like, oh yeah, 2,000 calories is enough, even though I'm running 13 miles and
No.
I'm doing about 40 miles a week.
That's not even close to being
Yeah,
enough.
they got to the
Yeah.
hospital and they're like, hey, you're starving yourself. And I started laughing. And they were serious. So these are the things that, I think that is helpful to put this stuff down. But once you have an understanding, you're able to look at stuff by gauging it by your hand. Just try
Yeah.
doing that. you know.
Eyeballing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm eyeballing it. Well, I mean, I think that you're definitely like really inspiring and really doing such great work. I mean,
Oh, suck
all
it
of the
down.
articles I've read, all of the different things I've seen, your Instagram.
I'm
is-
super humbled by it, though, man. Like, I mean, because I'm like, y'all writing about me? I'm like, I'm just a hood booker from Brooklyn. Like,
Yo, hood boogers need media love too. What are you
that's
talking
true, man.
about?
I'm saying Cardi B is my
Right.
girl,
Yo,
forever.
I'm on that Cardi wave. I ain't gonna
You know
lie.
what I'm
man.
saying?
Okay.
Her story's so amazing,
Yes,
man.
she
But,
is.
but your story's pretty phenomenal, man.
Yes.
And
Thank
because I'm around, I'm around so many dope women who go through the same challenge.
Yes.
It's really dope to hear how empowered you've been.
Yeah.
Even in spite of the challenge, right?
Yes, because
you-
this challenge is still going on.
Right, exactly.
I mean, because it's a daily process. It's a daily affirmation that I have to tell myself. I put down 3 things on a note, like on a scratch of paper, letting me know, how to keep myself going every day, whether it's a physical characteristics, and I do not allow anything negative
Right.
to kind of go into that. And I think you have to do these things. Otherwise, it's like using it or losing it.
Got you. That makes sense to
Facts.
me.
Well, this is the part where we get to go into the Inquisition, where we get to just kind of give you the questions that everybody has to answer when they get on this show.
Oh shit.
Because we want to show people that the real part of you. So, ready? Mm-hmm. Ready? All right. Yo, you want to go back and forth?
We'll go back and forth.
Let's go back and forth. All right, I'll open it up. Right. Ready and go. How often do you work out?
Oh shit, 6 times a week. I should be going lower.
Which would you rather hold for 30 seconds, squat or plank?
Squat.
Thing that people do at the gym that annoys you.
Oh God, they don't load up their weights. They don't re-rack their weights.
Oh yes, that annoys me.
Yeah.
Piss me
Body
off.
parts you are insecure about. Are you paying special attention to
or you're paying
or are you paying attention to?
God damn, this is gonna sound really jacked up. I don't really have a part that I'm insecure about anymore.
Nice.
Look at you. I want
Yeah,
to be
no, I'm take that back. My tiger toes, man. I don't be clipping them and I don't get pedicures.
Work.
Spoken like a married
That
woman.
yes. Workout gear or equipment you swear by.
Let's see, workout gear. Okay. Kettlebells, battle ropes, and please do not be scared of the cables. I hate treadmills.
Yeah.
Cables. Okay.
Song to get you hyped in a workout.
You said who? Song?
Song to get you hyped in a workout.
Power song.
Yeah.
What is it? To the window, to the wall, to the sweat drips off my ball.
Oh,
ski,
yin
ski,
yang.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes, there we go.
Twins, get low, get low.
Get low, buddy.
3, 6, 9. They're fine.
Hey.
Favorite healthy snack or dish?
Forever will be pistachios.
Oh, I love pistachios.
Yes.
Favorite not so healthy snack or dish?
Oh, everything.
Good answer.
Everything. No, we gotta get
No,
specific.
she's a good answer.
Chicken parmesan.
Chicken parmesan.
Yeah, I love me some Italian food.
Sport or style of exercise you wish you could do?
Oh my God.
It could be
I need
anything.
to learn how to swim. That's what I want to learn.
Swimming,
No,
okay.
I want to be like really proficient.
You about to
in it.
do a try? You ain't?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know how to swim, so yeah, y'all can
Oh,
check
it's
out
gonna
my
be
blog.
fun.
It's a dedicated blog section. It's called Half Dead Goldfish to Metamorphosis Shark. It is a real blog section.
I'm
don't know how
excited
to
about
swim.
this.
Okay.
All right. Biggest gym fail.
For me,
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be good because she's laughing
and
herself.
clearly, we can't talk about the sharding.
Oh no!
Hold the sharding.
Yeah, aside from the sharding. Now, if you go on my Instagram, you will see I try to do different styles of push-ups, and all of my fails are on there for you to see. I try to do this push-up where you hold on to the wall and then you go right back.
Yeah.
I fell flat down, and the entire gym looked at me. They're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Nah, not really. Just my pride."
All right, this was a fit. Aw. Well, I appreciate the fact you're trying though.
Yeah. A
That's
for
the
effort.
point. Wait, man.
So on those struggle days, what do you tell yourself to get yourself out of bed to work out?
B, you know you got to go out there and work out. That's literally what
that's
I
it.
actually tell
You know
myself.
you got to. You just got
Stop
to.
playing.
Mhm,
You
stop
just
playing.
got to. Well, everyone, yeah. Y'all, I'd like to thank you. Are so awesome. Thank you so much for coming to our show and coming and be able to share
That's
your
right,
thoughts and
definitely
share
awesome.
everything.
Definitely.
Awesome
Thank
talking
you.
You've rocked. Yo, this was a good show.
I'm waiting for my invite to get some of that ramen though.
Listen, I'm saying I'm trying to do a birthday party hopefully before I start doing all this traveling.
Okay.
I'm trying to do probably like run out of space and just do like this whole 80s style birthday party and just have like almost like a space party.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah,
And is there anything else you're working on?
Oh man, 100K triathlon. I am doing a podcast basically on 300 pounds and running. You can check it out, 300 pounds and running.
Nice.
It is basically called The Long Run. I have a series of things going on. You can check out the website, www.runningfatchef.com. All of my things are listed there.
Awesome. Yo, thank you once again so much for coming on, Latoya. You are so awesome. And please make sure you guys check her out. And yes. And yo, AD, this is the first official time that you are my co-host.
First of all, thank you for having me, you know what I mean? And
Yo, you're
I look
bomb.
forward to doing the thing. And thank you again, Latoya, for coming on the show. We're definitely going to be following your journey.
Yes.
And I guess we'll be back at this, right?
We'll be back at this. So, we're just keep following us. Please subscribe. Make sure you're subscribing. Share it with your friends. Tell your peoples. Tell them that the compound movement is the bomb. And that we really want to reshape the idea of fitness and health and what that looks like.
we gonna change
Especially
that
for people of color, man.
Yes.
Yo,
For
power
real.
to the people.
Holla.
Peace.
Later.